What's up guys, this is Revival GT. It's been a while, so I figured I would make another video for you guys. I am gonna go over what it takes in order to beat a stock Hellcat, and it's not as much as you think, right? So I have my mod list over here on a whiteboard, but I don't want you to click out of the video yet, so I'm not gonna show that to you. But what I will do is I'm gonna go over everything and just kind of part by part. So the very first thing that you need, and the most important thing you need, is a good tuner and a good tune. I use Palm Beach Dyno. I've had Lund in the past on an F-150 that I had an E85 tune through them. That truck hauled ass, it was great, but I went with Palm Beach for this car for one specific reason, and that's because I get a transbrake built into my paddle shifters. I like that a lot. That's really what made me go with Palm Beach. And just from what I've noticed, Palm Beach tends to have a little bit more aggressive, transmission tuning, a little bit harder shifts. You can't go wrong with either one. I still love Lund. I'm not talking down on them, but if you want the transbrake tune, then you need to go through Palm Beach in order to do that. If you want a, what's it called? The Ghost Cam, if you want a Ghost Cam tune, go with Lund. You know what I mean? They do that. That's what it boiled down to for me, was either, hey, do I want a Ghost Cam tune or do I want a transbrake? I wanted a transbrake. So I'm actually a fan of the Ghost Cam tune myself. I know a lot of people think it's flashy or it's dumb or whatever, but I personally like it. But anyway, so that's the very first thing. Now, the actual tuner itself, I use the HB tuners Engage. So that's what I use, that's what I like. It actually does a bit more than the SCT. And that's why I like it. And plus, it fits in your freaking air vent, so it looks really cool. Besides that is let's go under the hood. But a lot of people around here probably want to know what it looks like under here. But see, I'm not the type to try to hide anything. I don't care. You ask any modified car around where I live, what's done to their car, it's stock. Oh, it's stock. It's stock, man. It's stock, man. No, it's stock. It's everybody says it's stock when, everybody's just capping like constantly, but it is what it is. So this is what I have done to this car in order to outrun this cat. That's it. That's it. Yeah. Nothing crazy going on. That is a factory intake manifold. It is not ported. That is a factory air box, and that's it. There's no cams in this car. There's no nitrous. There's no direct port nitrous under that intake. There's nothing else going on with this car. I don't even have my IMRCs locked out like that. I mean, there's nothing. It's like dang near bone stock underneath here. The only things that I have are, I've got the little struts there, right? And then I've got the JLT oil separator. I like it a lot. It does a good job at, filtering that oil blow by. Future reference, don't get degreaser on aluminum. I learned that the hard way. It looks like crap now, but it still works, so it's staying in the car. I don't care about this isn't a freaking show car, it's my daily, I don't care. But the next thing is my intake under here. Let me get this thing out the way. Bro, come on. That is a drop-in K&N filter. Now, I kind of got pooped on a little bit by some people saying, oh no, don't get the K&N. It's trash, it's garbage. It's not garbage, it works just fine. But from what I've heard, there are a couple of better alternatives out there, like a AEM drop-in or a green filter drop-in. Supposedly, they're so much better that you can feel it in the seat of your pants. I don't know if I believe that. That's just from, Facebook groups. But that's what they say. So take that for what it's worth. I like my K&N. It works just fine. But speaking of filters and air boxes and all that good stuff, you do not need a cold air intake on one of these cars. Maybe the 15 to 17s, yes, you'll get a benefit out of that, But honestly, if I had a 15 to 17, I would buy a stock 18 airbox, or 18 to 20, 21, whatever, because this airbox works so well that a lot of cold air intakes, they really can't keep up. They just look good. They look good under the hood. They're not actually going to give you very much of a performance gain. I actually bought a cold air intake from a very reputable company that is known for working with Ford and have for a very long time. And my intake air temperatures were kind of ridiculous. This keeps them down more than anything else I have been able to find. And I did see a guy who took that gold foil stuff. He wrapped the entire air box. He wrapped this, he left this, and then wrapped all that. And it looked kind of weird under the hood, but it kept his IAT super, super, super low. And so I'm probably going to end up doing that to this car and my wife's car, which, by the way, it's not here right now. It's at the dealership because it had a wind leak in the windshield. But we got a new car. There's supposed to be a Charger RT sitting right there, but there's not because it's a Dodge and it's already at the dealership. But back to this. Don't waste your money on a cold air intake, guys. Unless you just want it to look really cool, 9 times out of 10, you're just gonna buy a $300-400 paperweight, and that's what I did. I ended up having to sell mine for $250. I paid $400 for it, and I basically just threw away $150. So don't do that. And by the way, my car was tuned with that intake, and when going back to the stock intake, it actually still performed better. So I don't know how that works, but I'm not a freaking mechanical engineer or anything, but that's my experience with it. I like this more. Did I like the look of the other one more? Yes, absolutely. It looked way cooler than this. But this is about practicality, and this is about what works, and this really freaking works. So again, just to kind of recap, K&N drop-in, or a green filter or AEM. I've got the oil separator there, which that doesn't really do anything for performance. And my struts, which make this car faster than a Hellcat. So besides all of that, the next thing I'm gonna go over is suspension. So I have the BMR drag springs on the front and the back. That's a really good mod. It's really cheap. I think it's like $200-ish for the set, and they do a really good job with that. They they of course they increase your spring rate back here. They decrease it a little bit up here. I think it's 150 pounds up here and like 800 pounds back here for their drags, but it gives a really, really good ride quality. I like it a lot. I drive it, this is my daily. I drive it around town. I drive it everywhere. And it has a very stock-like, driving experience. And I like that a lot. It's smooth, any bumps or anything I hit, it's not crazy. It doesn't just destroy my suspension. But besides that, the next thing is I have the BMR cradle lockouts. So there they are. That's on my passenger side, but that's the BMR cradle lockout. I just got I can't remember what finish they call that, but you have this finish and you have the red also. I like a little bit more of a stock appearance, so I went with the black. But that right there is one of the best for your buck mods that you can get for one of these cars. They're independent rear suspension, and when it comes to that, you're gonna have wheel hop. And as you know, wheel hop is not a very productive thing to have in a sports car. So, if you're trying to, launch from a dig, or, you're going around a curve and it lurches and it feels like the rear end's like coming out of the car, and that's not okay. That cradle lockout kit, it was also pretty inexpensive. I think it was around $150. And outside of the tuner, that right there is probably the best bang for your buck mod that you can get. They say that takes away 85% of the wheel hop. I'd have to agree with that. There is still some, but it's nowhere near as bad. The car drives way better than it did before I did that. You can actually tell it, going around curves and stuff. I could tell it immediately once I started driving, and I like it a lot. So Now, exhaust wise, I have the factory manifolds, and they go to the Mac 3-inch cat deletes to a 2.5-inch connection. That's, you know, the stock size right there. If you want to go to a 3-inch, that'll probably free up a couple extra horsepower, but I opted to go for, you know, the 2.5-inch. So I've got the Mac cat deletes that go to a 2.5-inch Steeda H pipe to a set of the Steeda, what's it called? I think they call them like the race type axle backs. A lot of people like how my car sounds. I like how it sounds. A lot of people hate it because it's really loud, but I like my cars loud. That's just how I am. I'm kind of a douche, but whatever. So that is that. Now the cat deletes for themselves, that's probably that's a really good performance mod. They're $400. You pay a shop, I don't know, $100 or $200, whatever, to put them on. They do have to cut one of your manifolds and weld a flange to it to get it to work, because on these cars, I can't remember which side it is, but one side your cat is welded, and on the other side it's just 2 bolts and it comes right off. So they do have to cut one side and weld a flange to it, and then the Mac cat deletes will bolt up to that. So, you know, if you're a welder, you can do it yourself. If you don't know how to weld, take it to a shop. I'm pretty much a do-it-yourselfer, but when it comes to welding, I have no idea what I'm doing, so I took it to a shop. Now, in regards to the tune and the cat deletes, that's your power adders, really. You know, you get a little bit with the drop-in intake, but when you go E85 on a 2018 and up, you don't have to do anything else, and it gets you a lot of power. What I mean by not doing anything else, on the 15 to 17 cars, or, you know, previous or prior or whatever, you don't have to, or you have to buy different, you know, higher flow injectors. Sometimes you might want to put a bigger fuel pump in there, you know, stuff like that. These are direct and port injected. They have 2 forms of injection. From the factory, you don't need to do anything to run E85. Now, when I say that, don't buy one of these cars and go to your station and fill up with the 85. It will not run right. It'll run like shit. You need a tune on these cars. I've seen people say, you know, you don't need to do a tune to run the 85. Those people are lying, and they want you to break your car, okay? Don't do that. I accidentally did that one time because I had my tunes mixed up, and I put my 93 tune on when I had the 85 in the car. It ran like hot ass. Do not do that. But that's where all your power gains are going to come from. So they say, you know, with just the cat deletes and, you know, paired with a tune, that'll get you about another 20, 25. Sometimes if you do long tubes, maybe 30 horsepower. But you get that, you get a few extra with the drop-in intake, and then, with the drop-in filter, and then your, you know, a little bit more free-flowing exhaust, and that's it. That's really all it takes to beat a Hellcat and win these cars. You got to have a 10-speed. You got a manual, I'm sorry, you're shit out of luck. You got to do a lot more to your car to be able to manage to do that. You know, you got to be no lift shifting at 8,000 RPM with a freaking 2-step, and, you know, maybe a small shot of nitrous. I don't know. The manual cars are a bit slower, so then that's a whole nother topic for another video, because they changed a whole bunch of stuff. But besides that, guys, if you have any other questions, you need to know anything, I consider myself a wealth of information on these cars. I worked for Ford for 7 years. I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm doing. You know, I'm not just some random guy making videos. I actually worked with Ford for a very long time. So again, you need anything, holler at me, let me know. Please like and subscribe, do all that fun stuff. And as of right now, I am 4 or 5 subscribers away from my first 100. And that would make my day, and that would make me very happy. So if you could do that, I'd really appreciate it. Again, any questions, comments, concerns, let me know down below, and I will get back with you guys as soon as I get a notification. Thanks, y'all.